Welcome to West USA Weekly, the podcast, your go-to source for everything real estate in Phoenix, Arizona. We're breaking down market trends, local insights, and the moves that matter most to Valle agents. Interviews, tips, and the latest from one of Arizona's top brokerages, all in one place. Let's dive in.
Good morning, West USA. Welcome to another edition of our Monday morning podcast. We got a lot going on today, so let's jump right into it. Of course, we've got Todd Menard here to give us a look at the numbers. Justin Frederick with the Frederick team is here to give us our mortgage minute. One of my favorite topics we're going to talk about.
Yeah, this is your suggestion.
Well, okay,
yeah,
one of my
his
second favorite.
Oh,
Stop ringing my bell.
I got it.
I'm going to share 3 areas of content agents should be consuming. And then for the first time, we got Kevin Valle from the Valle Home Group here. Some great material he's going to go over. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, please feel free to email us at podcast@WestUSA. All right, let's jump into the announcements. Todd's got a virtual CE class coming up this Wednesday from 9 to 12, 3 hours of agency law. If you don't know where to find these events, just go to your dashboard, look on the calendar, or if you're not with West USA, you're welcome to join any of our events. Just go to westusacalendar.com. All right, Sue Fluke's got a property management boot camp. So if you are in property management or looking to get into property management, I would ask the question, why?
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is more of a class on, once you go through it, it's like you now don't want to be in property management.
And so I know it's on that screen there, but the camera's right in front of it, so I don't know what
March
day.
13th.
Friday.
Okay, Friday, March 13th. All right, we got to do something with that camera. All right, HUD, FHA, and today's agent, 3 hours of disclosure law. This is an in-person class at the Chandler office tomorrow from 1 to 4 p.m. All right, a surprise lunch and learn. The ABCs of CRM. So if you are looking for ways to enhance your CRM or to even figure out how to use a CRM, this would be a great event for you. This is going on tomorrow as well from 9:30 to 11 a.m. All right, short sales. Claudia is doing another short sale class at the Goodyear office this Thursday from 10:30 to 12. I have attended personally this class twice. It is a great class. We are seeing more and more short sales take place. So now your chance to learn more about short sales. All right, creative financing, 3 hours of general CE class. This coming up this Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Scottsdale office. So all about the different creative financing options such as temporary buy downs and VA assumable loans, which we're in the middle of a VA assumable loan right now, and it's pretty fascinating. All right, for those of you up in the White Mountains, broker updates. This is going to be a virtual meeting this Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. All right, so we started talking, I think, last week, right, Nick? We talked about FinCEN?
Yep.
All right, so we have put together a class. This is what your investors or what you need to do if you are buying investment properties. This is a new government mandate and a must. And so there's a lot of confusion around it. Not even confusion, a lot of like, what the heck is it?
Yeah.
So we're bringing a special class next week, Wednesday, March 18th from 11 to 12 a.m. here at the North Phoenix office.
Nice. I just wanted to quickly jump in before we went over to the market stats. Just a big thank you to everybody who attended last week's first 40th anniversary kickoff event. I definitely should have gotten a slide up here, and I apologize for not doing that. We had a tremendous turnout. We were packed at the Legends deck at the Surprise Baseball Stadium. A lot of really great conversation, great interaction with our vendor partners that helped put the event on. Yeah. I have to say thank you to the West USA staff and all the vendors who made that event possible. And then the next event coming up in June, the Kambara event, is actually already sold out.
Oh my
so
gosh.
We are taking a wait list. I'm sure we'll be able to open up another handful of tickets like we did for the baseball event. If you have not gone to westusa40.com. Register for the events that are open. Register for the car and get your tickets for the November gala. You're going to miss out. We are selling these things very fast, guys.
All right.
Please get signed up.
Yeah. And a big shout out to Sissy Hempel. What a fantastic job singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
And then our very own Kyle Fouts, he suited up and he got rocked. A couple home runs shit off him. Man, he doesn't give up the little home runs. He gives up the ones that go way
out. You would be surprised how many West USA agents truly were in AAA club or somewhere along there. It's really quite impressive if you take a look. I also wanted to just say on the I know, Mike. On the event this past weekend, people traveled from all across. We had people there from the White Mountains. Thank you so much for attending. We had people there from Mesa, Chandler, Tempe. When we say everybody's welcome, but to see the fact that people are participating from that distance, it just deserves a thank you and a shout out. You guys rock.
Yeah, and Clint, he drove a long distance, about 5 minutes from his house.
Yeah, and that's not why I was there. But all right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. My name is Todd Menard, and today we're going over the greater real estate market statistics for the Greater Phoenix metropolitan area ending March 9th, 2026. Let's get into our numbers. This past week, we had 79 days closed on market, a month supply of 5.65. Absorption rate was at 17.70. Average list price this past week, $787,224. Average sale price this past week, $687,206. And our list price to sale price retention came in at 96.94. Inventory up, we're over 26,000. Remember, my numbers don't include pending or under contract taking backup offers. These are legitimately active properties, 26,155. Pending is sitting at 4,937. Closed units at 1,195. This is for the month of, that was for the month of March. Taking a look at new active listings, 2,461. We hit our number. We're over the 2,400 mark this past week. Days on market for active is at 91 and closed at 79. Lower left-hand side, we have our price ranges. Only two that contracted between $4 million and up. That's a big market. Tick, tick. Total inventory is sitting at under 600,000, is representative of 66.35%. And 600 to 1 million is at 18.86%, and $1 million properties and higher at 14.78%. So the spreadsheet's what we want. Here we go. 2461 versus 2385 last week. So obviously up, but look at last year, 2591. So we're sitting a little bit behind same week last year, 2128, of course, 2 years ago. Active inventory at 26,155, up 0.7%. Last year we had 25,257, so in the little pink thing right above the other number, 3.56% improvement year over year. Looking at pending, we're sitting at 4,937. That's a really good number. Last year we only had 4,330 buyers in escrow, same week. We have 4,937. And if you don't think that's a huge, yes, it's, maybe 600 units, 700. That's a big change. You're representative of, just under 10% more buyers in the marketplace than we had the year before. 1,195 closed month to date. It's too early to really see what's going on there. Month supply is at 5.65 this past week based on last week's sales. So again, remember the statistics week over week. We're not talking about the entire inventory. We're talking about just the sales that were made this past week. And that's up, that's down from 5.77 the year before. Big changes here is really not much. Your average sale price, everything else is staying in line, which means the market is not getting more. The prices are not increasing right this moment. Now, on certain transactions, I'll tell you, like my neighborhood, they're up about 6%. But that's unusual. So there will be markets that aren't changing, and majority of the MLS is not changing. So if you do have particular markets that you want to focus on, that's why your numbers are more important than my numbers. My numbers are more important than state or national numbers. But it's you. You are the practitioner. You are the person that people are coming to for the right information. If you'd like to know how to do it for your neighborhood, I'm always available for you to help teach you how to get to the numbers. But to get to the number of transactions we had this past week, close, the seller gave up about another 0.5%. So this is really important. I'm not going to go into it today because we're short on time, but you must be checking list price to sale price retention and the seller concessions before you write the contract of the properties in the neighborhood of which you're writing the offer, and do that, again, for the last 30 days or 45 days max.
So what you're saying is we're in a buyer's market.
Yeah. You know me. I don't really care if it's a buyer or seller's market. It's just I hate when people use the wrong term because it shows you're ignorant. if you use the right term, and it really helps everybody truly understand what's going on in the marketplace. However, Mike, to your point, you've been saying this for a while now. If there's a negotiation option available on the table for your buyer, you got to go for it. You have a fiduciary and now a contractual obligation to your buyer to go try to get them the best money possible.
Well, if I had $1 for every time somebody said I was ignorant, I would be loaded.
He definitely called you ignorant.
I look in the mirror too, but if I can talk to 3,000 people and help you guys understand it, then I feel that my job is done.
Good job, Todd.
Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. So last week we did see interest rates rise a bit due to the conflict going over in Iran. And so oil prices have risen, and that's the concern here, and that's why we're seeing interest rates go up. So we'll see what happens, but so far this morning we've seen a little bit of an increase in mortgage-backed securities, or excuse me, a decrease in mortgage-backed securities and an increase in the Treasury bond.
So on this, does it like for me, every time there's any kind of international event or national event, we always see a little spike in rates. In a situation like this, will we see it come down before we figure out what's going on, or if this goes on a month or 6 weeks, that rates could be sitting higher over that period of time?
Good question. I really feel like this has to do strictly with oil. If we get oil figured out and get our gas prices figured out, I think that we'll see rates go back down.
Okay.
So we really got to figure out the source of oil.
All right. So I'm going to set this up for you.
Okay.
This is well, you can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
So this is a conversation that I have with agents. You know, we have agents from different states, or even agents here that hire us to help them invest in real estate and so forth. And they get into these situations where, you know, I've got a house to sell. Though I don't want to put in an offer, a contingent offer, but I do have a little bit of cash. And this is a conversation that takes me a long ways with a lot of people, that a lot of people don't understand this concept of what recasting your loan is. And so I asked you to talk about it, because you and I always have discussions about this. Yeah, so 100%. There you
go. This is much cheaper than a bridge loan. This is an easy way to pull it off without getting a HELOC too. Instead of getting 3 different loans or having 3 different loans, you're just taking a first mortgage on the new property with a minimal down payment. So recasting is basically taking and re-amortizing the loan once you sell the old house, or once you come up with, maybe you have a settlement on the table. Maybe you're in a lawsuit and you know you're going to be getting some money. A lot of loan officers or agents think that you need to refinance to get that liability down, get that payment down on that mortgage, when in fact, majority of the time you can do what's called a recast. And this is much cheaper than a refinance, much cheaper than taking out a home equity line of credit in a lot of cases. So basically, you're just taking a large amount of money and applying it towards the principal balance, and then they are re-amortizing the loan based on the new balance, based on the time that is left. So scenarios that it can help, just like Mike was saying, your seller has a lot of equity, needs to buy a home before selling, doesn't want the full equity tied up immediately. So basically we can keep that equity in that current house, maybe take out a small home equity line of credit, maybe use a 401k.
Or even for me, for a lot of people, it's just, you know, just borrow some money from some family members.
Borrow money from family members.
That's always a good option.
Maybe, maybe you just have the money in some sort of CD or money market. And it doesn't take much, 5% to get into a down payment, or a conventional loan. But close with minimum down payment, sell the current home, and then apply the proceeds of that current home via recast. Now, typically, this is all based on the servicer that you're working with. And when I say servicer, we're originators at Fairway. Brokers are originators. You need to find out what the servicer, who you're going to be with the servicer. So you need to ask your loan originator, the servicer that I'm going to, I want to make sure that I can recast. Now, you can only recast on conventional loans and jumbo loans typically. You're not going to be able to recast a government-backed loan, which is a VA, USDA, or an FHA loan. So understand that these rules do not apply to that. But if I have somebody that I know that I'm recasting, I'm going to make sure either fairway servicing, or we're going to go to a servicer that will accept recast, and the cost is cheap.
What if I find a servicer that will recast, but then the loan gets sold?
So that's why you have to ask us. So we go to our secondary market and say, hey, this loan has to be retained, or this loan needs to go to a servicer that can recast. So that's why we need to know in advance what your plan is, so we can structure it correctly. Each servicer will have different charges or timelines as well to a recast. So if I know that you're recasting, I want to take you to the cheapest servicer with the shortest amount of time. For example, most servicers these days require 12 weeks from origination or from conception of the loan to do the recast. But there is servicers out there that take much longer. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's servicers that require $50,000 minimum. Well, if you tell me that it's going to be $50,000 or $40,000, I'm going to find the servicer that's going to allow a minimum of $10,000 for that recast. So tell us your plan. Talk to your loan officer. Make sure your loan officer knows about this, because if they don't, you probably want to talk to somebody else and make sure it's all in writing for you. I just talked to actually a family member that assumed a loan. They were told that they could recast it. I was thinking, hey, they could recast it because they're assuming the loan. Maybe the servicer gave them something special. Turns out, nope, it's still a government loan. So the more you know, the better it is for you. Knowing about recasting doesn't replace your lender. It just strengthens your partnership with them. When you understand the tools available, you can structure stronger offers, solve liquidity timing issues, and prove more confidence to your buyers. Again, government loans are ineligible for recasting. Conventional and jumbos vary by servicer.
So I'll just go back to the last slide. So I'll just give a real life scenario that I'm going to be going through. I got a couple. They are moving out here from Arkansas.
Yeah.
And they have a house. They got a lot of equity in their house. But if they sell their house and have all those proceeds, then where are they going to stay between Arkansas and then asking someone to do a 3, 4, 5 month, post-possession, pre-possession, whatever the case is not ideal. So the question for them is, I know their price range. Do you have enough to put 5% down on a conventional loan? Yes, Mike. Perfect. So let's go find that house. Let's get under contract. Then you can take your time selling your house. And then once you sell your house, you've already bought home number 2. You've put 5% down, but they're going to have another $100,000 that they would have initially had on their down payment, but they don't quite have it yet. So what the recasting model is, now within 12 months, they got to sell that house, take that $100,000. And I describe it as you're just reapplying a second down payment. So it's not changing the terms, it's not changing the interest rate or anything like that. All you're doing is putting a second down payment, and your monthly payment is going to be lower.
I want to talk about this too. One of the myths of lending is 20% gives you the best interest rate. And that is not the case. Actually, 20%, if you have excellent credit or even moderate credit, 20% down is not going to give you the best interest rate. You can get a better interest rate with 10%, so in some cases 5% compared to 20% down. And the reason for that is at 20%, the bank loses its insurance. So at that 20% is like the breaking ground for the interest rates. So you can get a good interest rate, even though that you'll have that mortgage insurance. Once you apply, if you come in and you apply the additional down that would get you to below 20% of the original value or purchase price, whatever is less, that mortgage insurance is required to be removed by HOPA, Homeowners Protection Act. And so they have to remove that once you've gone below that 80% of the original purchase price or value. So this is a really good way to structure it. It's a really cheap way to to accomplish that goal.
All right, Justin,
Good call,
appreciate
Mike.
it. And go ahead, and if you have some more questions and want to learn more about recasting, his information's on there. All right, let's jump into our 3-pack. All right, gents, this is going to be a little bit of repeat for us, repurposing, but sometimes I just continue to have some of the same conversations with agents over and over and over. So it's been probably a couple years. But areas of content agents should be consuming. We live in an age where information is everywhere. And I take a look at the things that agents should know about but aren't taught. Let's just be clear. When you get your real estate license and you go to real estate school, their number one primary objective is to help you pass the test, not actually teach you how to sell real estate. So area number one, and you're off to a good start right now, but you have to make sure at any given time that you can speak intelligently about the market of what's going on. And like I said, everybody's off to a good start today. They've got a chance to listen to Todd's slides. And the longer that you listen to Todd's slides and hear him explain it, the more and more you start to see the trends and see what's actually going on in the market. I think it's impossible to, if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, take a look at the slides and become an expert. But, we've been doing this for 12, 13 years. And I think, I have a lot of agents on our team love that Cromford report. The Cromford report's another great place to get data, understand the market. I love, and this is not going to your Flex site. This is actually going to armls.com. The amount of data that we extrapolate, that's a big word for me. I wasn't sure whether I was going to pull that off.
Yeah, it's a 4-syllable word.
You take a nap?
Of just areas and zip codes and so forth. And then, of course, know what's going on in the mortgage world. And one thing I love about Justin's team is they send us all kinds of data on what's going on in the market. You are the real estate professional. Imagine, you get sick and you're in the hospital and you're like my mother-in-law. She went to nursing school back in 1942, and she still tries to give us advice on our health and stuff.
Protocols.
You just got to be current.
Yeah. This is good because this is everything from, inventory to the greatest aspects of real estate. But be cautious about this. If you're sharing information that's already available to the public, then it's okay if your purpose and there's some kind of action item in what you're sharing that gets them to call you to discuss it further. But you're not intelligent if you're repeating what's already out in the public. You're only intelligent when you can take what's being told in the public and apply it to your client, your buyer's real estate situation, or your seller's real estate situation. So just kind of remember that about sharing information is that, if it's available to everybody, that doesn't make you the expert. What makes you the expert is your interpretation of that in today's market, in MLS, and what's taking place. Cromford Report's good if you want to get into GDP of the state and understand more about jobs and things of this nature. I highly recommend that. But Mike, you know what? The hidden secret is on armless.com's front page. There is so much market stat information that's there. It's ridiculous. And again, how you want to take that, use it, and apply it is up to you. And what comes out of your mouth when somebody sees that data is truly then what's making you the market specialist.
Yeah, and Nick, that's really the pivotal point here. It's what's coming out of your mouth. I'm not telling you to take these data and repost it or whatever the case is. Every day we're having real estate conversations with people, and you want to put people at ease. And the more knowledge you seem to have, the more at ease people will be.
Yeah, and I think to both your points, making sure that the information that you are providing is based on the conversation you're having, right? So this Saturday we were at an event, and I don't tell people that I'm in sales. People ask what I do for a living. I'm in real estate. The next question is always, how is the market? Oh, it's fantastic. What are you looking to do? I mean, that's the conversation. Now that allows me to ask specific questions to the individual, and then personalize the conversation around what is important for them. I'm not spouting off national information to someone who's sitting at the Union Park Community Center, which it was a cook-off, and I did win. Spoiler alert.
Ooh, at Union Park?
Yeah, it was actually a good time. Right. But it's an easy conversation, but you have to have the confidence in where you're getting the market information. And so if you're new to licensing and you're looking at CNBC or C-SPAN or Fox News, you're in the wrong place getting your market information.
But also it's with them, right? What's in it for me? And so when you have those conversations with people, you gear it, you take all that information, like what Todd was saying, you take all that information, you figure out what's going to benefit that person,
100%.
What's in it for them.
Right.
All right. Well, that is the voice of Kevin Valle.
Valle in the house.
All right, and marketing strategies. Okay, we talk about this a lot. Not everybody has a marketing degree, and I think it's one of those immediate barriers that we have when we get our real estate licenses, because we are our own chief marketing officer. And we don't have degrees. We don't necessarily have education in marketing and how to market and how to advertise our business. And so what ends up happening, we just do what everybody else is doing. It may not be creative. It may not be affecting, but you think, well, so-and-so's doing it, then it must be okay, then I'm going to do it. You're running your own business. You got to figure out how to market your business and find your voice. And so, for those of you that listen to podcasts, read articles, books, I would make this a topic of finding some really good materials to consume when it comes down to advertising and marketing, not real estate, not numbers. I mean, just how to market your business. And I wanted to put up here because I knew everybody was a lot of people were going to ask, well, what book should I read? This is one of my favorite books of all time when it comes down to business, Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. It is probably in the top 3 books that I've read that made the largest impact on how I market myself and how I advertise myself.
One of the things that I've been saying to people that were on my team or that have asked me to coach them or whatever has always been based upon the Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. And really what it is what movie are you playing? So in essence, if somebody would watch you, when you go to watch a movie, they don't tell you the ending. You don't know the end. And if you start a movie midway through and, you might not understand what the author and their play cast and the director did in the beginning part of that led you to understand the character better and all those types of things. So here's the thing. Well, the basic things are the actor themselves. Well, that's you. The scripts are good. What do? They memorize, they internalize, they customize, and they capitalize on it. That's your job, right? Then you have wardrobe. How do you dress? Do you dress and look like a professional, even though it might be casual? That's an indicator of, are you leading people to come to the self-realization of who you are and that they want to do business with you and they want to refer you. And then the last ones are easy. They're the plot and the props that you have. Your car, when you open it up, does your weekend fall out? The fact is you've got
I fall out now. I've got to the point where I open up the car and I'm falling out.
But, again, this is just setting the scene so that if somebody were watching you, and this is how you earn referral business, you don't get it solely by asking. You get it by doing and letting them watch, and then they themselves come to the climax of your movie, which is, oh, my gosh, I want to refer this guy to everybody.
Nick, have you ever listened to a podcast?
No.
Okay.
I don't need to listen to this one. All right, so real hard truth, real fast. Everything we do is marketing, guys. Yeah. Because of social media, we are our own brands. Everything you post, everything you say, everything you are commenting on is your brand. And I'm being very clear because we're getting blown up right now with everything happening in the world. When you go into a public forum and you comment, that's your brand. You're picking a side. When you post about a personal situation on your social media and you have clients on your page, that's your brand. You have to be intentional on what you are doing. And it's a little scary that this is not something that is an aha moment for a lot of people. If you allow your social media to be public in any way, that is your brand. And you should be treating it 100% like Apple, like at Disneyland. If they're going to post on their business pages, it's not going to be about a breakup, a car breakdown. It's going to be a positive, informational post. And I just don't think people understand that.
Yeah. All right. Good point. Last one. Yeah, we could always talk about social media all day long.
Exactly.
All right. It's sales strategies. As we mentioned, real estate school never taught on how to sell. This is the toughest thing that we have. Okay, even if we nail our marketing, our advertising, and we think about we do open houses and we got all of these people, but we don't necessarily are professionally trained on how to sell and how to close a client or how to close a deal. So again, I would pick up on some podcasts or articles or books about sales techniques and strategies. Read books on how to close. How do I close? You don't even have to read books anymore. Sometimes when I'm looking for tips or I'm doing a presentation, I just hop into ChatGPT and I let it do all the work for me, and so forth. And then Todd, I'm going to get you all excited here. For sales strategies and networking, I think one of the musts for all real estate agents is the 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. I would take a next step. I would make this one of your annual reads. And if you're like me and you don't like to read books, Audible is your best friend.
Yeah, and you can increase the speed of most online Audible type books and get a 8-hour book done in 2.5 hours, as long as you like to listen to Alvin and the Chipmunks. But you can advance it and to be quicker. But this is, Mike, this is the reason why many years ago, when you and I and Clint and Nick sat down and we were talking about putting a podcast together, what was one of the real reasons, in addition to market information, that we wanted to provide to our agents? And it was sales strategies, because they don't. If you look back all the way to 2013, because they're all online, and you look at our shows, you will find the 3-pack will always be a sales tool every single week that we've been doing this. So just count the number of options. But this is so important, because if you just keep regurgitating on somebody, then you've bypassed the sale process. You're not going to get the sale. There are simple things. But I like even what Mr. Valle said a moment ago, which is the secret is, what is your client's objective? What do they need? And then you be that best resource for them. This is for people that don't know the market well enough to talk about the market. Just be the best resource you can be for that individual. Listen to them and provide that information. They'll close themselves if you ask the right questions.
And I mean, there's tons of books on sales strategies, marketing strategies. You are not going to be an expert in everything that you are doing in your real estate business. You are the CEO. You need to focus on things you're good at, and as Mike and Ryan say pretty eloquently, hire for the things that you're not. But being able to sell and being able to market yourself are two base level things that don't take a lot of time and energy. A couple of books, a couple of conversations, the networking events that West USA puts on, having conversations with top producers in your offices. Those are the right places to have those conversations and get that knowledge from. Speaking of, Mr. Valle, welcome.
Yeah, and it's great having Kevin, because I did this morning go over your slides and your content. Great stuff. And a lot of this is it's about sales.
It is.
So you're going to have to get really close to the microphone. But it is about sales. And so welcome to the podcast. This is your first time here. Ryan Reed has let you off the leash. So you must have had a really good 2025, man.
I had to build up that trust to let me in public.
That's awesome.
All right. So for me and our team, the biggest focus for us is all about having real estate conversations. Anywhere we go, no matter who we're talking with, no matter the setting, how can I take a introduction and turn it into a real estate conversation? And so I'm just gonna throw this over to you. Just hit the down button next time you want to go to the slide. But I love this concept of choosing the words that you use, because words are everything.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we don't realize the power of our words sometimes. And when we are able to drive in that message that we've been talking about all morning here, the numbers can only say so much. The setting can only say so much. It's really you have to find a way to use the right words to bring that conversation together and figure out their goals and how to align them to have a mutual win, right? And so when we're talking about out and about, Nick teed it up very well. You mentioned your...
Well, he can only play T-ball. So...
when you say you're in real estate, it very much is, well, how's the market? And being able to have that conversation is really important. I'm not going to go into that back and forth because I know Nick already touched on that, but at the same time, how are you going to respond? How are you going to use your words to not your advantage, but their advantage? Do you truly believe you're the best fit to serve them? And if you do, then make sure that you're equipped with the words to say.
Now, you were when we were going over the 3-pack, you were shaking your head. So I'm assuming maybe that you've read the How to Build Your Story Brand book.
Oh, yeah.
And that, for me, going back to that book, is really the power of words and my position and my role in somebody's real estate journey, but how I present myself and what are the words that I use and what are the phrases that I use.
Absolutely. Making them the hero and you the guide is top notch, right? Like that's what you need to do. And we have figured out a framework that I teach like our team and just whenever I have an opportunity to talk with people and they actually want to listen. I don't know why they would, but they do. I tell them we acknowledge, we repeat, and then we respond. And when we do that, it's really powerful. You're acknowledging what someone's saying, and then you repeat back for clarity. You're not going to say it verbatim, but you're going to just have a general understanding, and then you respond to it. Because right then and there, it's almost like when you introduce someone, you say their name again, and they're like, oh, no. It's actually, hey, Todd, no, it's Ted. Hey, Nicholas, no, I go by Nick. Okay, now you know because you repeated it back and you got that clarity. Then from there, you actually can respond. And so I really, really enjoy that framework. And it allows you to slow down and you really allow your words to come through because now you're going to get a deeper conversation.
How many times has somebody said something to us and it's immediately it rubs us raw? And we get just ticked, whether it's how we're treated at, by a flight attendant, a server, or wherever the case is. And it can work conversely of the words and the phrases that we use can immediately put people at ease and want to get them to that next level. And I like the concept of great communicators guide conversations instead of forcing them. This is the big challenge of open houses. You feel like you've got that short window and we just start vomiting information upon people and we start forcing the conversation into trying to convert rather than just guiding that conversation and building that trust.
Yeah, someone ticks you off, right? Instead of reacting, help me understand, right? Tell me more about that. Why? Right? And then those things are going to, one, give you time to cool down. And then two, maybe, did you just hear them wrong? Was it a misunderstanding or am I just irritable that day? Do I have a chip on my shoulder? What is it? And if you say, help me understand, or just out of curiosity, is this what you meant? And they may be like, whoa, I didn't mean to offend you that way. I meant to say it this way. Or maybe they very much said, yeah, I meant that. You're being a jerk. But it depends on if you're talking to Mike or not. And so,
wow, it's already started.
I had to go ahead and start this a little bit. I feel like I'm already involved.
I was
we had a handshake.
I was trying
before.
to be nice.
Yeah, we had a handshake before that he wasn't going to pick on me,
Mike,
but I wanted to open it up.
To react to that negative
That
comment.
was for the T-ball comment.
I saw how it affected Nick,
Yeah, I
and so
appreciate that. It's funny, Kevin. So the staff will actually say sometimes call it getting nicked because they'll be upset or frustrated about something. We'll have a conversation, and I think you just gave away my three favorite starting points. It's I guess called being valued at this point, but being able to letting the person feel like they're being heard is the most important piece of that because that calms them down. That's what their goal is. They want you to understand, be compassionate. I don't like using empathetic. Be compassionate and hearing what they're saying. And those three phrases right there gets them to go, okay, they actually care. Yep. And they do because you're asking those questions to try to seeking to understand, do a better job of fixing the miscommunication, understanding better. I love this. This is fantastic.
I think also asking curiosity questions can put us at ease as well. One of going back to the 7 levels of communication, one of my key takeaways from that book is, and I use this everywhere when you're having a conversation with someone and they say, "Yeah, I have an agent," or "My friend's an agent," and so we're great. Tell me about them. What do you like about them? rather than that immediate shut down.
Oh yeah.
Because buyers are liars. Okay, everybody knows an agent. Everybody has an agent, but doesn't mean they really have an agent.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, the digger I deep into that conversation, then the more opportunity that I have to position my proposition value and kind of flip the script.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's almost when you're at the open house, for instance, and they're like, oh, we have an agent. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, and you don't necessarily need to take a step back. I always tell people, when other agents, a question's not like, hey, are you already under contract with an agent? Why do you want to ask questions you don't want the answer to, right? Like they're in your open house. You can have that conversation.
I need to apply that to my marriage. I'm not asking anymore. I know the answer.
Just out of curiosity, how did yesterday go?
So how would you arrive at that same type of thing the Valle way?
Yeah, so if we're at an open house and they're like, we're talking and they're like, yeah, this is great, but I actually have an agent. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. How long have you been working with them? Or how do you know them? And when they're like, oh, it's so and so, be like, oh my goodness. Or you can go that route, and also you can also be really light at it up front too. I have an agent. Oh, thank goodness. Like, now I know you're normal, because everyone at least knows 1 to 5 agents, right? Like, if you didn't know an agent, then I'd be a little scared right now.
That's actually really funny. One of the things my partner Ryan does, I love this, and we typically use this when somebody says something outlandish and stupid, and going back to the curiosity, and I do this with my kids. I'll be like, okay, so walk me through this. How did you get to the point that you think that the market is going to crash? I want to understand.
Yeah.
Are you reading things that I'm not reading? Because I read a lot of things. So just walk me through the process on how you got to where you're at right now.
I love that, Mike, too, because you can use that in the open house setting, right? Like, walk me through, like, what made you come here on your own today? Mm-hmm. Are you out shopping by yourself? Like, oh, wow. And you can even make those kind of, wow, tell me more about that. Oh yeah, my agent's busy. Oh, they're too busy to show you houses today. Okay, that makes sense. Are they doing an open house as well? Maybe, they're just busy working with one of their clients. No, they're on vacation. They're in Tahiti this week, and whatever. And now you're kind of getting that understanding of where they're at, and then you get to find out, oh, they're not actually under contract. Their cousin's best friend's mother is a realtor, and that there's a loyalty there that they feel like they're going to use, but it may not actually be there. And so,
right.
Yeah. And that furthering that conversation down the road, you're allowing them to think. So the more you can get into conversations where you're doing the questions, asking the questions, it's not a control thing, but it really is an ability to understand more. And if they're constantly asking the questions, or you're having to give stats constantly, especially public stats, you're going to be, you can be shown to be wrong pretty quickly, right? Yep. And so having the ability to have an arsenal of questions is going to be really important.
Yeah. Now, I know you brought quite a few slides. So the thought process would be, we've got 20 minutes left, 15 minutes left. Walk us through some of the other ones, and Mike will continue to kind of ask you some questions as we get through them. But I want to make sure, fairness to your creation.
Well, I do want to go back to that last slide, because Todd, you've always preached this, and I use this a lot, because for people who are on the fence, and you have a way of saying it. So what I'm hearing is, if I found you the right property in this neighborhood with the right price, the right amount of bedrooms, would you be, if I found you the perfect one, would you be willing to go take a look at it and possibly write?
Okay, you scripted it a little bit differently, but I like that. And you have to be able to do that. But I usually say to people, so let me make sure I understand this. If I found you the perfect home and it was on the other side of McClintock, so you were no longer in Chandler, you're now in Tempe, but you specifically asked me for properties in Chandler, you don't want to buy it? And you look at them and they're like, or you can add to that. I used to say, if I found you, the exact home that you're looking for, and it was on the other side of the boundary that you gave me, and maybe it was even a better deal, you don't want to buy it? And a lot of times they're like, well, because sometimes people say, I want to live in Chandler. Okay, well, why do you want to live in Chandler? Are you municipally bound by the career that you have? Sometimes government workers and things like that. Or if somebody says, I want a 3-bedroom plus den, so if we can't find the 3-bedroom with a den already created, would you be interested in looking at a 4-bedroom?
Or tell me why do you need a den?
Yeah. So, but you can. But to Mike's point, I'm surprised you remember that. But
I use it all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And this slide in particular, these questions, think about the setting if you're out there and you're making cold calls, right? You're calling expireds, canceled, for sale by owners, and you're trying to progress the conversation forward, and you're trying to ask, get the appointment set, or let's say you're actually at the listing appointment itself. If everything worked out perfectly, what would that look like? Is absolutely a game changer when you're talking to a for sale by owner or a canceled, because they have had a bad experience in the past. Mm-hmm. No one in their right mind is going to be a for sale by owner unless they had a really bad experience, right? Or they don't have trust or faith in the industry. So getting them to figure that out and walk through that, what would you need to happen for that to make sense is fantastic when you're talking about pricing, right? When you're asking people, what are you looking for in your next home, or what's going to make it to where you're going to want to sell this one, and they start giving all the criteria, what would need to happen to make this makes sense? Well, now they're going to tell you exactly what they need. Now you're not going to have to overcome objections. We get in this mindset as realtors that we have to overcome objections. We don't have to overcome objections. We have to ask good questions to then understand where they're coming from so we can serve alongside them. I always tell people, I'm not coming here to be on the other side of the table from you. I'm here with you to then come alongside you to achieve your goals. And if we can do that, then we know it's a copacetic relationship. It's going to work well, and we need to go forward.
Well,
so
it's your last point here on the slide. I mean, you're turning expectation setting into collaboration. Your goal is to not just move them forward in action and ready to, they do want to write, or they do want to show. You're changing their mindset about the approach of working with you, their agent. They're building trust immediately through having conversation, because they don't know what they don't know, and they're scared and they're not sure what to do. Your ability to ask them forward-thinking questions and then asking permission, it puts them on the same plane with you. There is no animosity. And these are conversations you can do in every walk of life, not just when you're trying to work with a potential client. Yeah. This is something we should be doing daily as we talk to every human being around us, putting them in the collaboration bucket, not the I want to be yes, thank you.
Yeah. No one wants to be sold, but everyone's buying something.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the word conversion screwed us up. Mm-hmm. Because we all think that with that phone call that we have to make an appointment with them. No, you have to make an opportunity to talk to them again. And that comes in a lot of different ways. Go ahead, keep going. I think.
Well, what happened to relationships, right? This is a relationship industry. Life is relationships. It's about who we know and the relationships that we build along the way. And why can't the person that you cold call on a Monday morning be the person that you can end up showing up to your events and knowing their kids and seeing the life events, and why can't you build those relationships? I mean, when we were younger, it was much easier. There's that, we have a natural tendency to get out of the ability to build relationships and convert. And so when we're younger, you go on the playground, you make friends, right? Like you just did. And now, as we get into adults, we're in our own bubble. We drive, we get in our car, we go to the office, then we go home, and if we have an appointment, oh my goodness, that's going to be crazy. Oh, I don't want to go talk to that. Like, what do you mean? Go talk to them. Go make friends. Go out there and be friendly.
Back to Mike's real estate conversations. Right?
So, yes, and so bringing this into. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Go ahead. I just, for me, this whole concept of asking permission is something that I feel like I've adopted over the last 12 months, and it's become a powerful tool because on one hand, I'm not a fan of asking yes and no questions, because people will take the path of least resistance. Hey, would you like me to come over and I'll do a CMA on your house? Okay, that's a yes or no question, and it's easy for them to say no. And so we really focus on options, but we've really kind of got into, when you're asking permission, you're making them feel like that they have the power. And so a lot of times when we're wanting to even make a cash offer on a house, the script is really simple. Hey, Mike's da-da-da-da-da-da. We got your name and number. Do I have your permission to come over tomorrow night with a cash offer?
Yeah.
We get it done in 20 seconds.
And to your point, though, people are going to say no, right? So that's why when I'm making calls, did I catch you at the absolute worst time? Because if you say, the normal thing is, hey, did I catch you at an okay time? Is it okay to talk? They say no. If you say, did I catch you at the absolute worst time? They're instantly going to be like, no. And then you're able to actually just go forward, right?
I love that.
That's awesome. I love it.
And from that, when you say, hey, do I have the permission to come over? Would you be open-minded to exploring an opportunity where I can provide you a cash offer that helps you meet these needs, right? Now it's an ability to, and you know what you're doing, but I'm like, that's just that. Would you be open-minded to? Because most people want to be open-minded. Most people, whether they say they do or not, want to be like most people. So in a scenario when you're talking about price adjustments in the market that we're in right now, where sellers have to be a little bit more flexible, most of my clients do this. Most people do this, or you're negotiating with someone hard. Most of the time when I'm talking to someone reasonable, or you seem very reasonable, like you start throwing that reasonable in there through the conversation before you get to the actual part that you need them to be reasonable for. And now they've already had that in their mind that they're a reasonable person. Is it going to work every single time? No. But will it help your odds? Absolutely. To then have a favorable outcome. They hired you to sell their house. You need them to be reasonable so you can sell their house. And so, would it be helpful if I shared a way on how we can progress this conversation to a way that you can actually get more leads? You can whatever, like you can use this into a way into any way you'd like. I would be really wrong if I didn't share where I got this from, because it's a resource that anyone can get. The gentleman's name is Phil M. Jones, and so he has a book called Exactly What to Say, and he has a game called Exactly What to Role Play. And so what we do on our team on Wednesdays is we go through exactly what to role play.
Love that.
And that's where you. Oh, sorry. I gave it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be smarter than the box.
Would you be open-minded for me to show you how to open the box?
One of my
Actually, I would. In fact, I demonstrated right away that I didn't know how. So thank you for assisting me.
One of my favorite things that I don't know where I got it from, I think I stole it from somebody, was when you're in the middle of a hard conversation, asking the person, are you venting with me or are you looking for suggestions? Am I allowed to provide you suggestions? And it's something that I use a lot with my children, and then, no disrespect to anybody, I use it a lot in my day. When someone is having a hard time, if I have to have a hard conversation and they've been going for a while and they're frustrated, that asking, because then as soon as they give you permission, because of course they're going to give you permission, now you guys are again back on the same page. They are asking you to give your ideas, your recommendations. You're not always trying to fix the problem. You're trying to be collaborative with them so that everyone can get a win out of the conversation.
Absolutely. And the idea behind asking those types of questions and progressing the conversation is important for family, everything.
Yeah.
The exactly what to role play, you opened up a few of it, but it gives you scenarios of where you're going to be, right? Are you talking to a past client? Are you servicing a client? Are you circle prospecting? Are you talking to a seller lead, a listing appointment, right? Then you have the objections, right? And so what we do is we have, there's usually 3 people involved. There'd be a kind of like a referee, or sometimes it's 2v1, and that's fun. And then you have these objections. We're just looking right now. Okay, well, we're just looking right now, and you're talking to an online lead inquiry. That never happens, right? And then you have to go, how important is it, right? Hey, we're just looking right now, and it's online lead. Okay, perfect. How important is it that you find a home within the next few months, right? Or how important is it that you find a home here in the Valley? And now they're going to share with you why it's important. Oh, I'm relocating for a job. Oh, like a life change. And so now you're really able to understand at a much higher level. So
can you share the author one more time, please?
Phil M. Jones.
Thank you.
Yes, Exactly What to Say. And then this is called Exactly What to Role Play.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's I'm actually familiar with the book. Some really, really good stuff. And we talked about the 3-pack about sales strategy. These are sales strategies, because it's just all about the dialogue. Totally. And I tell people, if you really want to see this in practice, go sit in a timeshare presentation.
Yeah, but after you've given them the second no, don't listen to anything further.
I love it. I love it. Phil has a different. I really love his perspective, because it is sales. But at the and I said this a little bit earlier, like no one wants to be sold, but everyone's buying, right? And it's that level of understanding that we're trying to achieve something, right? Like that they want to sell you a timeshare. You may be wanting a timeshare, wanting a timeshare. There's always something to be had. So with figuring out how to progress a high stake conversation, or having someone who may be a little bit more difficult, you have the lower resistance type of openers or questions. And this really puts you into a spot of Nick, you didn't say empathy, you said compassion.
Yeah.
Like, I may be wrong here, but is this what you meant to say? Or I may be wrong here, but it allows that room for error and allows them to correct you in a way that no one's really feeling like they're lost, right? And correct me if I'm missing something. That's another just right on the nose, right? So all of the point here today is I wanted to help us as we're going out in this season where a lot of people, around almost 70% of homes are not selling right now. It's crazy. There's a lot of people that tried to sell, and we can get kind of callous in the industry and say, oh, expired and canceled, and let's just go after them. Well, those are people who had life changes that decided to put their trust in someone and their goals didn't get met. Like, how cruddy would that be, right? Like, it's not a fun thing to go through. So meeting that with compassion and then asking the questions that get you to a way where you are able to serve them.
Yeah, walk me through this. Why do you think your house didn't sell? Just let them talk.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and one of the things, you can go to the last slide, but one of the things you said that nobody wants to be sold, but everybody's buying. Our saying is nobody wants to talk to a realtor, but everybody wants to talk real estate.
Yes.
I mean, once you say you're a realtor, they're running for the hills, but everybody wants to talk about the market.
Yes, absolutely. And to tie this all in and end strong, this is something where we have a way of, when you're at a presentation or you're ending a phone call or you're having those weekly calls with your clients, whatever that may be, and they're giving you a reason, it's not unreasonable to just say, what else? Tell me more. That right there, you're going to find out so much more about what they're going through. Or if they gave you an objection, I just don't think it's the right time. Okay, what else? What else may be, but what else may not be the right time? Or what else may be a concern to you? What else? And those types of questions where you're, why, tell me more, what else? That's going to help you show up leaps and bounds above others.
Yeah, okay, so I want to, in a minute, just give you an opportunity to talk about your team, because you guys got an amazing team. I'm going through this, and I feel like now I know how Ryan Reed has been manipulating me over the past 12
I have a
to
meeting
24.
with Ryan this afternoon. I'm real excited now that I got a head on him.
Well, give him some objectives.
But the book and these concepts, you're not going to walk away from this and be able to go out and just implement this. How would you recommend agents really process this stuff, go deeper, try it out, and so forth?
Yeah. So everything, you build habits with everything you do. Whatever you choose to do each day, it's building a habit. Choose to have intentional conversations. Choose to ask questions. Choose to get a little bit uncomfortable with the person that walked by in the hallway. Start the conversation with them, and you can use some of this stuff, right? Like, hey, how was your weekend? Oh, it's good. Tell me more. Okay, well, I did this, and this. Or, hey, what was something exciting you did? Right? Like, progress that spot. I love it was
that.
A really bad example of saying how was the weekend. Never say it. You always say, tell me something exciting that happened. Like, hey, what exciting happened over the weekend? Now they actually get to share something instead of just, how was it? Oh, good. Right? Mm-hmm. So building up the habit of having these conversations, but then buy the book. Go on Amazon or Phil's website. Buy exactly what to say. We do our role plays on Wednesday mornings. You're more than welcome to come in and join for role plays. You don't have to be a part of the team if you're not wanting to be a part of a team. But more people means more perspectives, means more conversations, and now we get to help each other and grow. Right?
It's a gracious opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. So
9 a.m.
9 a.m. All right. So I'm coming in. So tell us a little bit about your team, and we've got your email and your phone number up there. I can speak very highly of your team. You guys run a great operation, and if there's an agent out there considering and thinking about joining a team, you guys would be at the top of the list for me.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Outside of our team.
There we go. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Valle Home Group, it's simple. We're trying to serve as many people as we can through just thoughtful interactions and ensuring that we can serve our team members by providing them the effective leads and equipping them with the right conversations to have. And then that transfers into our clients, and it's able to now get the home sold for the sellers and help buyers negotiate the best deals. And so if we can equip ourselves and become true professionals, we believe an educated buyer and educated seller make a healthy market. And so what goes before that is an educated professional. And so if we can make and help more professionals be educated within their industry, more buyers and sellers can be educated, and we'll be in good shape.
And you can check them out on Wednesday mornings in the role playing, because for me, all this information is great, but if you're not doing it, and role playing is, even though it can be very, very uncomfortable, it is that safe place. We do it with our team a lot, and we can give each other, ideas and so forth. It's fantastic.
The benefit of role play is that you don't have the answer, and your anxiety increases when somebody asks you those questions or has an objection, and you don't have it, so you crawl deeper inside yourself. And so and role play is not to put you on the spot. Role play is to have you self-identify those areas of conversation you need help in that can help you 10+ your business.
Yeah, practice in a safe environment. Why practice on clients or potential clients, right?
All right, Kevin, thank you. Incredible information. We leave everybody with the quote of the day: don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going. Appreciate everybody. Go out and sell a home.